Hey all, I'm pretty excited about today. We've had some rains recently, so water levels have finally started to kind of come back up a little bit on the waters that I typically fish. So truthfully, they feel like really high out here, but it's just that water levels have been so low for so long that when they're up to about normal, or honestly it may even still be a little below normal, it just feels totally different, and everything out here today just feels so much healthier. So I'm really looking forward to getting out. I've had a really tough go of it the past few trips out. I just haven't been able to get anything going. I've caught one fish or no fish, and it just has been a really tough kind of, truthfully, about a month and a half. So I don't know, we're gonna launch, and I don't have any reason to be optimistic in as far as that, like that pattern is going to change and that we're gonna get on a lot more fish, other than that when water levels come up, sometimes the bite seems to be a little bit more active. The water level's actually been up for about a week now, so I don't know, and it's starting to recede again, so I don't know that that's really gonna do us any good as far as having a more active bite out here, but it's at least gonna make floating a little bit easier. I might not have to get out and drag the kayak for so many stretches, but I don't know. I mean, all you can do is just give it a shot. So we're gonna try again. It's been a while since I've had a good trip. I hope today is gonna be the kind of the change, the turning point for that, and maybe things will start to get a little bit better. So without further ado, let's get the kayak kind of in the water. I've got it up on the bank right now. Let's get out in the water. We'll get a piece of bait on and just float to our first spot and see if we can't just get something going right off the bat and try to catch some fish out here today. All right, I think we might be on. Finally, see if this anchor that I clamped onto is gonna hold up for us. See if he'll run with it one more time too. He's got to be on. I'm expecting a flathead, and I'm expecting a somewhat small one, but you never really can tell, so we'll just see. He rolled with it, so he knows he's on now. Okay, and he may, I don't know, you never can tell. I was gonna say he may not be so small, but I don't know. I won't speak until we get him up and get a look at him, I guess. Yep, it's a little one, but it is a fish, and it's been extremely challenging to get on any fish lately, so I'm grateful to get him, even if he is a little small. You can just kind of tell when he hit it. He didn't hit it real hard like a channel typically does, and he didn't, when he did run, he didn't really take the rod over real hard, so I figured he must not be terribly big, but they've got a lot of fight. So even though he is somewhat small, he's a lot of fun to catch, especially on this really short line. I apologize for the wind noise. Y'all aren't going to be able to hear much of anything I'm saying because it is incredibly windy out here these days. I think we're forecast to have wind gusts up in the 40s and 50s today. So it's going to be pretty noisy out here. A lot of wind noise on the camera, and there's just nothing I really can do about it. So we'll just make the most of what we have to work with. Feels really good to finally get bit by a fish, though. And it feels really good to have a little bit of water in the river, too. It's just been so low. Things just feel so much healthier with a little bit of water. It's been so dry. And you never know. I mean, we could go right back to it, but for now, we're grateful to have a little bit of moisture and a little bit of water running down our streams and filling our reservoirs and doing that kind of a thing. So it makes it a lot easier to fish out here. You can actually float a kayak without having to get out and kind of drag it around, and it just gets frustrating, man. I think that I really do believe that the drought has had a pretty significant impact on my success with catching fish this year, anyways. So there he is, kind of like I said, little guy, but when you haven't been able to get any, you can't be too picky about what you do get when you finally get one. That hook got him exactly where you want, right in the corner of the mouth. Boy, I can't get it loose either, can I? There we go. We'll get a look at that bait here in a second. probably get it switched out for a fresh one. Boy, it sure feels good to finally get bit, even if it is a little one. And that certainly is a little guy. Oh. That blood coming out of his gill is not him. Not a severe wound. It's coming out of that where I had that hook in his mouth, right in the side of his mouth. So that's what that's from. But that's just a small little flathead there, but good to finally get bit. Send him on his way. Yeah, that blood running down, that looked, I realized kind of as I was holding him up there, he had a little bit of blood dripping, and I took a look, and it looked bad, but it was just, I had him hooked there in the corner of the mouth. When I popped the hook out, he started bleeding a little bit. That blood was running down kind of his mouth and out the gill, so that wasn't an injury to be concerned about. So, well, let's get a look at this bait. I'm thinking it's nice to get it back, but I'm probably going to switch it out. It's not in terrible shape, but I've fished a few holes with it now, and we definitely could reuse this bait. But you know, the water temps are pretty warm these days, and so these baits kind of bleed out a little bit quicker, and I just want to keep everything fresh. It's been so difficult to get on any kind of a bite. I want to make sure that if we get on a hole where there might be a fish sitting there, we have a fresh bait there for them. So I'm going to just switch them out. Get that out of the camera lens there. And we'll just go ahead and put on a new one. So I don't know why it's been so challenging for me the past month and a half, 2 months really. I just haven't been able to get anything going. I really do think some of it's kind of the drought that we've been dealing with. Water level's been really low. It's kind of impacted water temperatures, made them kind of fluctuate up and down, and I don't know, I just feel like it's really impacted the fishing. So it's nice to see some water flowing again, and I hope it stays that way. Hopefully we keep catching some of these rains. I'm gonna toss that tail. Head bait, oh my, got a plant there right in the camera. I'm gonna throw that head bait just back in the cooler, hang on to it in case we need it. I don't think we probably will, but we'll hang on to it just in case. Put a new bait on. This is gonna be just a midsection. If I was fishing multiple rods, I'd like to have probably a head bait and a midsection out most of the time, just to kind of have a little bit of a change up and offer some different, have just some variety. But the way that I fish, it just doesn't really work to fish 2 rods. The second you get hit on one rod, then you've just got a big mess. It's impossible to deal with, so I just fish one. So we got that ready to go, and now all we're doing is just dropping it off at the side of the kayak here. So we're on a river bend, on the deep section of, you know, the deeper end of a river bend here, and just anchor it up on the bank. I drop it. Boy, that wind is going to make things challenging, isn't it? I had dropped that bait down, and it didn't take long for it to get hit. You know, it was only down for a few seconds, and that's usually how it is. It's usually a matter of seconds to minutes. When you drop a bait right on a fish and they're there, it doesn't take long for them to hit. So I don't spend a lot of time on any one spot. I usually give it 4 or 5 minutes and just kind of move on. And we fished several locations down through here without anything going on, and then we got on this spot, dropped a bait, and boom, right away we got hit. So that's kind of how it's supposed to work. We're just trying to cover water, not spend too much time on any one spot, and we'll just hit some of these locations that should hold some fish. And some of them are going to have an active fish on them, a lot of them won't. But our goal is to get our bait down in front of an active fish that's willing to feed, willing to bite when we drop that bait in front of them. So this wind is going to be a nuisance for us out here today though. Normally, fishing down here, you can kind of get out of the wind because these river banks are so steep. We're down you know, we're down out of it. But it's gonna be really gusty out here today, and it's gonna be a hassle on us. It's gonna be a pain for us to deal with. Okay, we got him out. I thought for sure we were done for in that snag. Let's get that camera set if we can. Oh boy, okay. Finally. It's been a long time coming. It's hot out here. It got hot, man. I did not think it was gonna happen to get one more fish out here today. This is just the way it's been this year. And this is gonna be just an okay chance. Oh, and he popped the hook. Dang it. He just let it go. Did he even have the hook? Dang, man. Well, shoot. I have to cut another bait, but I've got this old head hanging here. I'm sure he won't come back for it. Let's just drop this down. It's been just that's painful, because it's been just miserable to try to find a fish. And you know, we're in that time of year now where they should be spawning, and it should be hard to find fish. It gets that way during this time of year. But it's been like this for all of June and all of May. It's been 2 months of just really struggling to get bit. And then here we are, we had one hit and we lost him. We didn't get a good hook set on that fish, because as soon as he hit it, I was kind of laid back and relaxing, and as soon as he hit it, he went straight into these trees, all these snags and stuff laying down in the water here. And he got hung up in it, and so he didn't really get an opportunity to like pull the slack out of the line and really get a good hook set. He kind of wrapped up in those logs, and then I thought he came out of it. I thought we were good, but then he just dropped it. Oh, that's a bummer though, when you fish as hard as I fished, and dang, it's just the way it goes. It's a struggle. Guys, I've given up. I can't catch fish anymore. I don't know what's happened. I guess what I'm going to do is just on my next outing, I'll just cut that trip in. I mean, it's been, like I've been saying, it's been 2 months since I've been able to go fishing and catch enough fish to be able to actually piece together a video. And so I think what I'll probably do is just to salvage the time I have had out here, the one little fish I did catch. We'll just cut it in with the next trip. Hopefully I catch something on the next one, or you know, if I'm real fortunate, maybe even 2 or 3 fish, and we'll just cut them in together and go that way. But it just has been exceedingly tough conditions this year. I don't know why. It's just been different from previous years where I just haven't been able to get on a bite. It's always a little bit slow out here, but I just haven't been able to catch more than 1 fish here, 1 fish there, and then, you know, a lot of trips coming out and spending a lot of time and not catching anything. So it's just been a big time struggle, but I guess that's just the way it goes. I'm keeping it real on these trips. This is real footage, so I'm editing it down. It's a real fishing trip, and it's just kind of the way it goes. So we'll go again here sometime soon, probably be next weekend, but we'll go again. Hopefully we catch some fish. We'll cut it in with this video and go from there. All right, folks, I'm gonna get my kayak launched and get after it. I'm back out here kind of round 2. So I was out here last week and I caught just 1 fish, and things have just, the going has been really tough for me lately. I haven't been able to make anything happen. It's been a couple months since I've had a trip where I caught more than 1 fish, and so it's just been really tough for some reason. Now we're in that time of year where we should be kind of right in the middle of the spawn, and that makes things even more challenging. It's already super hot out here this morning, and so it's just going to get hotter as we go. So I can't say that my optimism is super great for this outing, but what I had done is I had caught that fish in my last trip, and I said, you know what, well, we'll save that footage, we'll come back out and we'll just try to catch at least another one. You know, if we catch 1 fish out here today, we can at least tie the 2 together and get some footage out there for you, so you can at least see and understand kind of what I've been going through. And I mean, this is just the reality of what it's been like fishing in my area lately. And so I'm going to bring you along with me, and it's not always easy, but it is always fun. That's why I keep coming back to do more of it. So without further ado, let's just get this kayak down. We've got a steep bank, we got to slide it down, we'll get it launched, down here in the water, and we're just gonna float downstream, fish our way down, and when it gets too hot for us to bear it anymore, we'll just paddle our way back up and be out of here. But hopefully by then we've at least tied into one fish, and really it'd be nice to get 2, 3, you know, just have kind of a trip to kind of lift my spirits and build my confidence back up a little bit, because it's been so challenging lately. But we're gonna give it the best we can. Just see what happens. You can't catch fish if you're not out here trying, so we're gonna try, see what happens. Something's on it. The way it's acting, I believe it's a turtle. Let's find out though. He's swimming with it right now, so let's just see. Nope, it might be a fish. Oh boy. Okay. Well, now I'm concerned we didn't get a real great hook set on him. That's one of the challenges. Oh, that's a big channel, man. That is a big channel. That is one of the greater challenges of fishing in shallow water like this, is that sometimes if that initial run or taking of the bait isn't real hard, then you don't really have a great way to get a solid hook set. And then when they're up just immediately on the surface rolling like that, then you know they've got a pretty good shot at throwing a hook. This is a big, not like this, a good quality channel cat with some interesting colorations as well. So it's a cool fish. And he's really not hooked well. I've got him up under that top tooth patch. That hook is not in real solid, so we better not mess around too much with this fish. Get our landing glove. Yeah, it's got some really unique colors on them. This is obviously a spawning channel. When they start spawning, they get those really big, the males anyways, I think it's the males, they get those really big knots on the top of their head. This one has them. I mean, it's that time of year that we should be right in the middle of the spawn right now. All right, I'm worried about getting this thing landed. For how big this fish is, I wouldn't think he'd be done, but he really hasn't fought a whole lot. He really just came to the surface and started rolling. We want to get our hands on him as soon as we can, because that hook didn't penetrate real well. Oh boy. Okay. Alright, let's see if we can grab him here. Yeah, I don't like how that hook is in his mouth. Okay. I need him to open his mouth at the right time for me too. It's been a weird fight here for how big this channel is, how big of a channel it is. He should have fought harder than he has. We got him right up here on the top of the mouth, the roof of the mouth, but that hook didn't penetrate terribly deep. It's a strange angle to get in there to get that hook out though, so I am going to go ahead and grab the pliers since I'm holding them with my left hand. Yeah, that didn't take much to pop that hook free. Just like that though, we got our first fish in the kayak. Well, that there is a fish that's obviously been spawning hard. He's got a lot of scars. He's got a big rip out of his fin, numerous fins actually. Looking at this side, he's got a big scrape on the side of him over here. He's seen better days, so he's definitely in the middle of spawning real hard. It's a good quality fish though, really. Some unique colors on him for a channel. We're gonna go ahead and let him get back in the water, go do his thing. Just kind of an interesting fight on that one. Like, you never really, those big channels, it seems like a lot of time they like to hit that bait and just take like one big initial surge. And this fish never really did that. He just kind of hit it real light, like kind of like a turtle does, where they just kind of swim out with a little bit, then come back, drop it back down. And then instead of fighting, he just immediately came to the surface and started rolling. And so I never really was able to get like a solid hook set on him, because I'm only fishing with like 4 foot of line out. So when, you know, when they don't take that line real hard and they just come to the surface and start rolling, you never get like a real strong tightening of your line. You don't get that hook set real great. But we got them landed, so it's a good way to start the day. Get our rod out of the way. Fish through the bait, so we'll cut a new bait here. This is just frozen. These ones are crappie, which are legal here, but for me, I get to fish about once a week, and so if I got to go get bait, then I don't have time to catch catfish. And if what I really want to do is catch catfish, and for me, it just works out to have bait in the freezer. Otherwise, I'd always rather have it fresh. I'll show you what I got going on here. I mean, if you watched any of my other videos, you know what I've got going on. But this is 80-pound mainline braid with a 3-ounce egg sinker, just a basic Carolina rig, down to a swivel. I forget what size swivel that is. To a 40-pound monofilament leader, down to an 8/0 circle hook. Pretty basic catfish rig. And so this is going to be a head bait that's going down. Just took it through the nostril, and that's what we're running. So all I'm doing is just dropping it at the side of the kayak. So I'm pulling up on structure. I've got a bunch of logs laying in the water here next to me. We're at the top end of that structure. Water tends to get a little bit deeper here on the top end. I'm fishing down like I'm right on that structure, but my scent is running down into it. And so a lot of times the top end of these structures are a better place, at least in my experience, to set up. You tend to get more bites up on the top end. And so I'm just dropping my bait. I'm parking right here at the top end of the structure. I'm dropping my bait right here at the side of the kayak. I'm not casting out or anything like that, just dropping my bait and lifting it, reeling down to it, just so that it's lifted and suspended basically right on the bottom. And so that's what I'm doing. That's how I like to fish these smaller rivers and streams that I spend a lot of time on, and it seems to be really effective. Though this year, obviously, I've not done very well, and so maybe a different approach might have been more effective this year. But that fish, worked on that fish there. Good start to the day out here today. Let's see if we can keep it going. Hook into another fish out here before the day's over. Something's on it, though it's going out and up and not really downstream. It's kind of, again, an interesting way to bite. And they just dropped it. It's hard really to know when they don't do what you're used to. Like I'm used to, when fish hit, they hit the bait and they go downstream, right? When they kind of go out, like to the main river channel or out to the current and upstream, then you're sitting over here wondering what is going on. And so often I'm thinking that there's a turtle on my line, and you guys will hear me say that all the time. It must be a turtle. It must be a turtle. And a lot of times it is a turtle, but you know, other times, like this last fish that I caught, it's a fish. It's just not acting normal, and so it's really hard to know. This one here dropped the bait, so maybe it was a turtle, but there again, it kind of gave a pretty good tug to where I thought that we were about to hook up. So we'll give it just a minute here more and see what comes of it, and if nothing does, we'll just keep moving on. So something definitely came of it. Now it's rolling downstream like it should. You just came back for it and hit it, and it feels like a pretty solid fish. And we don't have a lot of structure in the water here to worry about getting hung up in, but there is some. So we always want to be careful about that. And it is pretty rocky down there as well, so we want to try to keep them from getting hung in a rock that might cause our line to break. I think this is going to be a pretty good quality fish. That's sweet. That's 2 spots, 2 fish. So things are going much better out here today than they have in recent weeks. That's a pretty solid flathead. It's getting me all kinds of wet too. That's okay though, man. This is fun. I love doing this. When you catch fish, it's just a blast. It's just the past 2 months have been terribly unproductive, and so it just hasn't been as much fun. And that really is not as big of a fish as what I thought it might turn out to be. These fish can, I don't know, they can throw you. They do weird things sometimes. That last fish we got was a really, really nice quality channel cat, and it just didn't do much for fighting. This one here is a flathead, but it's a small one actually. I thought it was going to be a bigger channel maybe, but it's a small flathead. And it's just acted a lot bigger than what its size class really is. So that's just a lot of fun though. And this is a hole that I've been waiting to catch a fish on, because I fished it a number of times now just over the past couple months when it's been really slow, and I thought that I for sure would catch a fish on it. Got really good depth of water here with just one single tree hanging down in the water, and like I said, a lot of rocks in the water on the bank back here behind us as well. It's just one of those locations that just screams fish, and I haven't caught anything on it until just now. Well, let's get another one in the kayak, why don't we? It's turned out to be a good morning so far. You never know when it's going to turn off. You know, this might be one of 2 fish that we catch out here today. But if it is, then that's 2 fish more than what I've got on a lot of my recent outings. That thing has a belly on it, man. Might be kind of a small fish, but it's got a belly. Alright guys, let's hold up fish number 2 of the morning. Not a real big flathead. We get a lot of them about this size out of this water. But it's got a belly on it, man. Either that one's full of eggs or it's been eating good. I think it's got a scar kind of on the back of its tail over on this side too. I think all these fish are out here spawning, and typically this time of year, when you're on the spawn, your bite's going to be worse than what it would have been for the past 2 months where I've been getting nothing. So just been a weird year for me out here. Nevertheless, always fun to get a flathead. Always fun to catch fish, man. I love doing this, and the way that I'm doing it, I love just being in a small vessel with a really short line suspended under your kayak. It's just an absolute blast. Send that fish home. We're just gonna try to do it again. That bait, I think it left the bait on. We'll see if it left the bait on. I think it did, and if it did, that bait's only been in the water for a few minutes. So I want to keep my baits good and fresh, but that one there is a head bait. You only get so many head baits, and they just tend to be really, really good baits. I definitely prefer the heads over the body sections. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we could. Let's switch it out. This water's warm. We got warm water. They kind of bleed out quicker than they otherwise would. That bait's still definitely usable, so we'll save it. We may end up using it still out here today, but let's just see what we got. I do have some pretty big gizzard shad here with some head pieces that I could use, though that one there is pretty small. Let's get this bigger gizzard out. Put that crappie in there with that. Let's just cut the head off of this big gizzard. How about use it? this would be a pretty big bait here, but these are definitely not fresh. These are some gizzard shad that I got from the local biologist from when they do their gill net survey out on the local lake. And I think they're like 2 years old. Like they're definitely not what you would want as far as like how long they've been in the freezer for. They've got a little bit of freezer burn and stuff like that going on, but I have caught a few fish on them this year. I really liked them in the early spring, like in March and like the first parts of April. For whatever reason, they seem to do a little bit better then, but we'll try one here now, and if we don't like it, we'll switch back to the crappie and just put a body section on. We're just gonna try to, same thing, kind of out the nose there, and that's a bigger head. We'll just try that and see what that does for us. We'll hold on to this crappie though, and we may end up using it yet. Okay, that thing, I was looking down at my phone trying to send a text. Next thing I know, my rod is getting buried, and there's a fish on the bank behind me. It literally swam up on the bank, covered me in water. That's that big gizzard shad head. This is spot number 2. We just came downstream a little ways. We're fishing a deeper river bend here. And we'll just give him some time and see what we got. It just hit like a freight train. It hit like what a channel cat's supposed to hit like a big channel. But we'll see. I'd like to get more flatheads. I couldn't quite tell what it was. Whatever it is, it's a pretty good quality fish. If it's a channel, it's a giant channel. Yeah, oh my goodness. Did you all just get soaking wet? I sure did. That is a giant channel cat. Okay, let's see. Gotta figure out a way to get that camera cleaned off. Bear with me here. Wow, that thing just got me soaking wet, man. It actually felt kind of good, but still not ideal when you're trying to film. Yeah, the bite's just been so much better out here today for some reason. That's a good quality channel cat. Alright, well, let's get this phone put away. I was trying to send a text about potentially doing some farm work later, but that can wait, because we got a nice fish to deal with here. We have our priorities. Our priorities are before us. We're gonna have to let this one play out a little bit. That's a really nice channel. I might try to get a weight on that one if we can get him to calm down enough for it. Yeah, he took that big gizzard shad head. He didn't have any issue with it being 2 years old, 2 years in the freezer. Well, and we're gonna get it back too. It was still in pretty good shape, so we may just leave it on. Unless he does something crazy here and throws it off, but I think we might get it back. Let's see if we can land him. What do you think? Can we land him? Nope. No, we can't. About took my hand off, though. Alright, here we go. Let's try it again. Hard to get a hold of, because, well, I don't know why. It's just kind of hard to get a hold of. Let's get this rod out of the way, like we always do. Now, yeah. That's a good channel. And where's that hook at? We got our head back, so that's sweet. We'll probably just drop it back down. It's not been down very long. It looks to still be in pretty darn good shape. Okay. The hook out. Let's get the camera up and get a look at this thing. Try to hold it. Oh. I knew he was going to do that too. Try to hold him up without losing him here. It's still fairly green. It's a good quality channel there, man. That's a nice fish. I said maybe we'd try to get a weight on him. I ain't gonna bother. I was thinking that, you know, this might be like a personal best or something like that. I don't think it's really quite gonna be. So let's just toss him out right here, right now. But that is a very good quality fish nonetheless, and a lot of fun to catch. Man, it hit like a freight train. Just sitting here trying to send a text. Next thing I know, my rod is like running off this way, and there's a fish on the bank getting me all wet. Good time. All right, let's get a look at that head and just see what kind of shape it's in. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tore the nose there a little bit, so we just want to rehook it if we can, so we don't lose whatever fish might bite next. But otherwise, that thing's still in good shape, so we'll just go with it. So we'll drop it back down here on this spot, see if there's anything else around that wants to hit. Typically I don't catch more than one fish on a hole. For whatever reason, you know, I don't really know why that is. I think a lot of it, I think, is that these bigger catfish tend to kind of be like solo creatures that like kind of hang, you know, bugs on my neck, like to kind of hang by themselves. I think a lot of it too is that when you do catch a fish and we're fishing right on top of where our bait's sitting and we're dropping it with like a really short line, we just make a lot of noise, and so when we catch a fish it gets really loud, and I think that probably impacts as well the likelihood of us catching another fish. But I've done it enough times to where it's always worth. I mean, I'm already sitting here, may as well just drop another bait, see if we're gonna hook into something else. I mean, I've had it before where I've caught 5 or 6 fish off of the same hole too, so you never know. We'll go ahead and drop the bait back down, and then we'll just keep doing what we've been doing. We'll just keep sliding our way downstream here, and then when we run out of time or it gets too hot and we're ready to go home, then we'll pack up and we'll get out of here. Well guys, as soon as that sun came up over those treetops, it turned real hot real fast, and the bite pretty well just shut down, which is kind of to be expected. We got those 3 fish early, and frankly, 3 good bites early on is the best trip that I've had in literally months, and maybe the best or maybe second best as far as numbers goes trip I've had this year. I mean, it's just been abysmal as far as catching numbers of fish, so it's just been an incredible challenge. But we got 3 solid bites out here today. Had a lot of fun doing it here at the start. It turned hot, and the fish kind of shut down, and I'm kind of shutting down too. It's really humid. We're in that time of year. It's time for me to get out of here and go find some shade or some air conditioning or something like that. So I'm gonna fish one more spot. There's one more kind of lay down in the water behind me with a little bit of water depth to it. I'm gonna fish that. We get a fish, there'll be a little bit of bonus footage here tacked on the end of the video. Otherwise, we can call this a trip, and I'm going to call it a huge success compared to how well we've been doing lately. And hopefully the uptrend continues, and we can continue to kind of improve the success as far as quantity of bites that we're getting out here this year, and things will get better kind of as we get out of the spawn and into kind of a post-spawn bite. So that's the plan. We'll see you again soon. I appreciate you guys watching.